All right, Elise, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, well, it's been a while since we worked together. I mean, COVID put a little bit of a wrench in all of that, and I appreciate you being on today. And so I just wanted to ask you a few questions about your time with me. First of all, what was it that made you want to start working with me in the first place?
Honestly, it was coming off of my third baby, and I just could not get into, I don't know, there wasn't the motivation. It was busy, and I wanted to get rid of baby weight. And I knew this was our last kid, and I was ready to not have, quote unquote, the mom bod and just like get back to somewhat of a normal body type for me.
Awesome. And so in that time that we worked together, what did you learn and what were some of the results, if you could share?
Yeah, of course. I think the biggest thing, well, I learned a lot about myself because it wasn't just a physical transformation for me. It was mental, it was emotional, it was all of that. So that was huge, learning more about myself that way, but also learning what my body responded to. I mean, having a similar background of athletic training, kinesiology, and having all that knowledge is like, oh, I know what you need to do to stay healthy. But I felt like my body was so darn complicated and just I could never figure out what was my sweet point. And so that was probably one of my biggest takeaways was just knowing what worked for my body.
Right.
And being able to be consistent with that.
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all program.
No.
Right? So being willing to experiment, and you were open to, okay, that's not working. So what should we do next? And
Yeah.
that for you
Yes.
required some blood work, and it required you to be looking at different allergies and various things. But what are some of the things that you found for you that really worked?
First off, I didn't have to kill myself at the gym, like cardio wise. I thought to burn fat, you've got to, right, get on the cardio machines and kill yourself. For me, I realized, no, like for me, my body responded to weight training and more of a interval training, which was for me awesome. I learned some sensitivities that my body had and just being able to cut some of those things out, how my energy level and just feeling better. Mm-hmm. And then using what I already did nutritionally and how to incorporate that into my daily. So just combining all of those pieces.
Right. So another thing that I remember working on with you was really figuring out your protein, and you discovering that eating more protein was kind of the secret for you as well. Yeah. Something you're still doing today.
So definitely sticking to the macros has been huge.
Mm-hmm. Initially, when we started working together, this was a couple years ago now, but yeah, really just you doing the do and getting after it, really figuring out what was working for you. What were your results in those first 6 months that we worked together?
Oh goodness, 6 months. I mean, I had lost 20 plus pounds, and I believe it was over 30 inches total.
It was. That's incredible. Your before and after pictures during those times, this was awesome to see just the difference in real life too, and how you felt too.
Oh yeah, I felt so much better, and just it wasn't like a far off goal that I couldn't reach. It was like actually happening in real life. So that was so encouraging and motivating for myself, for sure.
So what would you say to people who are on the fence, and either on the fence with their own health or on the fence working with me?
Just do it. It's scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's scary because you know that you have to be vulnerable at times, and you have to be truthful with yourself and with someone else. And that can be scary, and change is scary, but the benefits like by far outweigh that 100%. And just having the accountability along the way is huge. I mean, we know that accountability does wonders. Right. So just having that, and to be honest, it was having you help me along the way was probably the game changer.
Not start and stop, but just having this steady stream of weekly calls that allowed you to make those weekly goals so that you had something that you could work on every week that eventually got you to the end results that you got. But at the same time, you had a big mental transformation in the way you looked at your
Yes.
body and the way you honored your body and loved yourself. And I
Mhm.
think that's the best transformation.
Yeah. No, it was huge. I mean, it was a huge thing going from a lot of self hate talk and self sabotage to kind of like this is me and this is the body that God's given me and I need to respect it, and it's done some amazing things like grow 3 human beings and that I need to respect my body where it's at and then not and continue to watch it grow and develop.
Right. And you have 3 girls. So how is that
Yes.
important to you in terms of how you look at yourself and how they see themselves?
Um, I did not want them to have the same struggles as I did mentally and emotionally. So for me, I had to change so that that wasn't leaking down into their life. I didn't want them to see their mom talking badly about herself and then thinking that's what they should be doing or thinking that's how you should be talking about yourself. I want them to grow up loving themselves and loving the body that they were created in and respecting that and being as healthy as they can. And so I had to make the change if I was going to impact them in a positive way.
Awesome. Well, thank you for answering my questions and being
Yeah,
here
of
today
course. So
to,
happy to do it.
yes.